Good morning and welcome to Mindset Monday, the one after Unscripted event number 2. Well, we had a great weekend this weekend at the Atlanta, Georgia location. We had some amazing people in attendance with us. And as you all know, we put out very little marketing for this for a very specific reason. We tell very little about it. And in fact, I'm going to let McKenna, who is standing over Danny's shoulder, tell when she had that aha moment of exactly why we call it the unscripted event. As we were sitting there talking, and this happened within the first, 15, 20 minutes, she said, "That's why you call it the unscripted event." Yes, it is very specific as to why things are done the way that they're done, whether it's in the community, at the events, everything. There is a method to our madness. Lisa, who is typically on the calls with us, she was here as well. She didn't get back into Vegas until I think 1 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see if she makes it in. Completely understandable if she doesn't. She'll find some excuse to give us. No, I'm just kidding. So, McKenna, why is it that we call it the unscripted event?
Because there's no plan set, anything.
There's absolutely no plan.
No, you just go along with it.
That's it. See, the whole concept to Unscripted, we're going to let you in on a little bit more now than what we have in the past, you could essentially say it is a live in-person coaching session. Now, for those of you that
it's like a river. You go with the flow.
That's it. You come in, and for those of you that have worked with me, y'all know that my monthly charge for one-on-one coaching is $5,000 a month. And that gets you 1 hour per week, so 4 hours per month. Depending on the size of the group and the way that we have had these past two formatted, we allow a maximum amount of people in for one simple reason. Because we want everybody to have their own individual time. We spend time with them. And we start off the entire event by having people share what they want to get over, above, around, through. And we write it down on big stick. Well, Danny's showing his right now. He took his with him. And the beauty to this is a big Post-it note. That's exactly what it is. And then we, as a group, go down and work with each individual person. That's Danny's list right there. And we write it all down, and then we stick it on the wall. And then we come back around and we work with each individual person as a group. The beauty to this is, just like on these calls, we have multiple people pouring into you because there are people from very diverse backgrounds, completely different levels of success in business. And Danny and McKenna can attest to this for sure. The network between Dean and myself is very vast. It's very, very large. And obviously I'm picking on Danny and McKenna because they are here with us right now. Both of them left this event with either a job offer paying them more than what they're making now. In other words, they immediately made the money back that they invested to come. Or on the other hand, they were open up to a potential partnership in a business that will pay them way more than what they're making now. Why'd they get this? Because they were here. Why'd they get it? Because they showed up. And I have had people since the last one say, "Are you going to live stream it? Will you let us in?" Absolutely not. I mean, I've had people plead their case. Look, You can pay off your expenses by having people live stream. You can pay for this, you can pay for that. And although they are absolutely correct, if you won't invest in getting here, the information we're giving you is too rich and too valuable for you to get it. If Danny and McKenna wouldn't have been here, they would not have been on the phone with the number 2 person in a big, huge corporation while they were here. They wouldn't be on a Zoom call when it's this Wednesday, right? With that same person to go over how to get involved. Now, there's no guarantees with any job, with any business, there's no guarantees. However, the history has shown that with this particular one offer, what was it that Dean said? 60 days was their best. They took somebody from 0 to 10 grand a month in 60 days, but their average time is, I think he said 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, something like that. That's 10 grand in a month. That's more than most people make. Again, it's not guaranteed. However, they are in that pipeline now because they were here. By being here, they had a little bit of input on what goes on in the unscripted event. We are going to completely, I emphasize that word way too much. There will be changes to the next one. However, the format will still be the same. We will allow more people to attend because we have learned a little bit about how to streamline it, if that's the proper word, and people still get everything they need. We ended at 5 o'clock. I looked at my phone, it was 4:51. And I said, okay, in closing, what did y'all come for that you did not get? You know what? We were able to close at 5 o'clock. In fact, for the next few minutes, we actually just talked. We just chatted because everybody that came got more value than what they expected to come and get. And that's the whole point to it. We are all about pouring in because the moment that we pour in to the attendees is the moment that they go back and they tell their friends, hey, you got to get here. You got to be here. You got to do this thing. When we put together the investment amount, the conversation between Dean and I was, how do we ensure that every single person will leave with at least 10 times the value that they paid to get into the event? And just a little behind the scenes, we also take into consideration that people drive in, that people fly in, that they have to get hotel rooms. We take all that into consideration. We're very well aware of the fact that if you have an event that's $1,000, and that's not the price for this, I'm just using it as an example. You have an event that's $1,000. By the time you get here and do all your travel, your hotels and everything, you're probably in at $2 grand. We get that. And we also look at everything to say, how can they get the value that's 10 times the amount that they invest? As all you guys know on this call, I am very particular about time. On these calls, we start right on time and we end on time. I respect people's time. I respect the fact that, welcome, Lisa. I respect the fact that Lisa got on a plane and her 4-hour flight here was time invested. Her 4-hour flight back was time invested. Her time here was time invested. And what they got that wasn't advertised is we also did hot tub confessionals with Pulp. What does that mean? Well, whoever wanted to went out and the hot tub. We had a hot tub that was available, and we just went down after the event was over and we chatted. Now, not everybody went down and got in the hot tub. That's okay. But the thing is, it goes beyond what we even advertise you're going to get. As y'all know, this was unscripted number 2. You're still working out kinks and bugs. And guess what? 20 years in business, I am still working out kinks and bugs. It's just the way it is. We've had this conversation on a chat before. You have to be willing to pivot. You got to be willing to change to make it the betterment of everybody that is in attendance with us so that they get maximum value. Danny, are you going to be at the next one?
Yes, sir.
When is the next one, Jonathan?
We will be announcing that very soon. And good morning, Patrick. One of the challenges that we do have with the event right now is, as I think all of you guys know, my partner in that business, Dean, by trade, he is an airline pilot. And he told us the second morning, he said, I just realized I'm supposed to be on a flight to Japan right now. Oh, well, he was with us. Some things are getting worked around with that job. And once those things get worked around, we'll be able to put the schedule out a whole lot sooner. Because what we're not going to do is say, hey, it's on this date. And then once that date rolls around, say, oh, I'm sorry, we have to reschedule or we have to cancel. That will not happen. You know, one of the things that I love about the beginning stages of a business is you don't look out and see thousands of people yet or hundreds of people. What I love about that is you're getting the core. You're pouring in and making it happen. We will not be the type of company and the group of people that say we're going to bring 100% whether there's 1 or 1,000, and then when there's only 25 people there, we cancel it because of lack of involvement. Our whole thing is to have everybody that comes in truly have life change, to truly know this is what I can do. You know, Danny was sitting there, and Danny just happened to be the last one that we put his information up and we ripped his stuff apart. He just happened to be with the scheduling. He was the last one. He had this look on his face like, oh boy. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was a little bit nervous, especially with his girlfriend sitting there. He's like, these people are brutal. They're going to rip me apart. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. That is both of our styles. We're very straightforward. We don't go out of our way to hurt people's feelings. We're also not afraid to. If it's a thing of we have to put our boot so far up your rear end that it's uncomfortable for you, but that's what you need to get to the next level. Between Dean and I, we have decades and decades and decades of business ownership. We've learned a thing or two. Between Dean and I, we could put together a football team. Well, you know what? We don't even need Dean for that. Kate and I could put together a football team with our kids.
Recording in progress.
And that's the beauty to everything is we bring a lot of experience. It's not just trust us, but we're not going to back it up. In fact, just being transparent, unscripted number 1 was at Dean's house. Unscripted number 2 was in the room right next to where Kate's sitting right now. We're very vulnerable with this. We welcome people into our own homes, and I can speak for Dean and I can speak for Kate and myself. We don't allow people into our house very easy. But the thing is, we want to have people see the real side of us and see exactly what we bring to the table. You know, I've been to a lot of things. I've seen a lot of people, and they're driving the big, nice, fancy cars. 6 months later, they don't have that car. Why is it? Because they rented it for the event, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. I've rented Lamborghinis. I've done the Rolls Royces and the Bentleys. It's cool. But to put out there of, hey, look at my car when it's not yours. I was showing off my van. Absolutely. It's worth about $3,000. If anybody wants to steal it, go ahead. There's only so many charges I can press on you, because until it's $5,000 or more, the cops don't care. But the thing is, we like to be vulnerable and let you see, hey, this is us. Do people have bigger and better than what I do? Absolutely. Do people have bigger and better than what Dean has? Absolutely. But you can look around and see, hey, these guys aren't blowing smoke up our rear ends. These guys are for real. You know, success leaves clues. And I'm not saying that every event has to be at the person's house. Absolutely not. Because like I said earlier, we're going to open it up to more than just, we were max at 15 on this one. We attempted 30 at the first one. With the way that it is organized, we could not handle 30 people. There's no way. People come in and get their individual time. There's not enough time in 2 days to do that. That's why we backed it down to fewer people. Like I said before, we're going to do it differently, along the same vein, but differently, so that we can open it up to more people. And guaranteed, oh, well, Danny, McKenna, Lisa, with the way that it's being redone, y'all left here with way more than 10 times the value that you paid. Guaranteed, it's going to be even more from this point forward. Man, we're really excited. I'm not even going to announce what it is. Keep you in a little bit of suspense. Simply because it's mind-blowing. It's going to blow you away. I can promise you that. You want to be able to go out and say, hey, this is me, and give somebody something that makes you stand apart from everybody else. Well, as an example, you can look behind me. There's a book with my face on it. You know, when I was putting out book covers and getting people's opinions, which I'm really not too concerned about people's opinions, I was curious to see where it went. I had one person say, never put your face on the book cover. Actually, I had a couple of people say that. Okay, cool. Why? They said, because that's all about ego. It's all because you want to be seen. Full transparency, you're absolutely right with that book. That was the whole reason. Because that book is used as a business card. That's it. The only reason that it is sitting behind me, it's not for advertisement purposes. It's just simply because the sheet that's blue right now is not big enough to cover my entire background. So then you would see what's going on behind me if that banner wasn't there. But imagine having something such as a book that you can say, hey, I'm a car salesman. Here's my book that teaches you exactly how to buy a car. Guess what? You just became the authority in selling cars. It's just the way that a book works. Elon Musk puts out a book tomorrow about the way to success is to wear green socks. Guess what? Green socks are going to sell off the shelf for quite some time because he is the authority, even though he wears black socks. And I don't know. I'm just saying that as an example. But the thing is, when you can come and you leave with more than a notebook, when you come and you leave with more than just knowledge that if you do not enact it, it's going to fade away. The very last day, there was some advice given as to how to take the notes that were taken by all three of them that are on this call that were with us, of how to take those notes and incorporate them in your life. A simple system to say, hey, here's exactly what you do so you don't lose what you learned in the past 2 days. How many of us have been to events? I know all of us have been to events. We go there, we take copious notes. They're amazing, and we never look at them again. How many of us have been to events where you network, but yet you never follow up with a single person there? When you come here, you learn exactly, hey, this is how you continue on relationships after this day. This is how you retain what you learned. Any good, or let's even back down, any decent mastermind / networking event that you go to, you should be drinking from a fire hydrant. I love events. I love to go to them. I love to learn. I love to take notes. Yes, we all know you retain more when you write it down. However, with all that information being pushed your way in a very short period of time, you're going to forget most of it. So when you come here, you learn, here's how I keep this fresh and relevant in my life. Here's how I continue on this process. That's how you do it. We don't just give you the incredible knowledge to go to the next level. We give you the practical ways to actually implement it. Lisa left here with a brand new business idea. Like I said, Danny and McKenna were offered, well, McKenna was offered another job. They were both offered a business opportunity. Wouldn't have happened if they weren't here. That's another reason why we don't live stream it, because the information and the content, it's just not for everybody. If it's not valuable enough for you to pay to get here, we're not going to share it with you. That's all there is to it. Lisa, it looks like you've come off of mute. Share with us a little bit about your experience over the past 2 days.
I was grateful that I was able to attend. That's number one. And meeting Dean, Jonathan's partner, was fabulous. And the two of them together are just amazing. It's 2 + 2 = 10 instead of 2 + 2 = 4 with the two of them and the way they think. So it was very helpful. And what's really wonderful is they see things that you don't see. And that's why you have a mentor. You have a mentor for the mentor to help you and see things. I had been see things you don't, and I've been saying all along, and it's kind of keeps coming out of my mouth, and I'm like, and then they made the connection for me that I can do that and have fun with it and make it a business. And how cool is that? Because it's something I love to do, so then I'll not be working no matter what I'm doing.
That's it. There's that concept that when you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Honestly, I call BS on that. When you love what you do, you're going to work 10 times harder because you love it. And to see Lisa's light bulb go off, Dean asked her the question. He said, so what's your passion? And for those of you that follow me on Facebook, I actually put up a picture of Dean when the passion easel paper was behind him when he was talking about that specifically. Lisa was a deer caught in the headlights. She's like, So I looked at Dean and I said, you know what? I really enjoyed when my family and I went to Italy last year. You know, there was really good food. And she lit up. She's like, that's it. She had been talking about it the whole time. What are your passions? I love to travel. I love to talk to people. I love food. Okay, so let's look at that. How can you turn that into what you do and love it? That's the advantage of having other people pour into you. When Dean came up here to my house in January for my grandmother's funeral, he came into my closet, and people that know me well, or people that even barely know me, just know me a little bit, know that I have a shirt obsession. I have about $40,000 worth of shirts and suits sitting to my right now. I just like shirts. He walked in and something was said about writing them off. I said, no, I can't write them off. Trust me, I've tried. And he said, oh, yeah, you could. He said, start a shirt business, buy, sell, and trade shirts. And I'm like, oh, my God, something that simple. You have somebody else looking at it from the outside in. And it's common sense to them. It never dawned on me. Guess what? I could have written off $40,000 worth of shirts. But because I didn't think outside the box, I bought them and I didn't get to write them off. How much sweeter would it be if I can send those into the IRS and say, hey, look, this is a business expense, and legitimately a business expense. I learned so much from him. He learned so much from me. We poured into everybody that comes. And, well, you know, the very first one was, like I said, at his house. It was in an airplane hangar. He had to get his personal airplane out of the way so that we could sit in the airplane hangar. Again, success leaves clues. Be careful of who you learn from. That's also could be tied into, just like I said before, you can see my $3,000 van. So you could look and say, oh, look at that piece of crap. It's all beat up. That's a clue that there's no success there. Very cool. Very cool. You also got to know meanings to things. I'm not letting that van go. I told Danny the meaning of that van. Y'all can look and see that my eye right here is caved in. I have no bones on this side of my face. I had an accident 12 years ago, 13 years ago, something like that. And that vehicle was clearly totaled. I was out of work for 6 months. When I went back, I rented a vehicle. And that's when my traveling, I'm based in Georgia. That's when I started doing work in Jersey and Pennsylvania and New York and Connecticut. I would always rent a 15-passenger van because I didn't have the money for a hotel. I would slide the seats out and put a foam mattress in there, and that was my hotel for 2 weeks at a time sometimes. Guess what I drive now? A 15-passenger van. I have other vehicles. That is my primary vehicle, though. Front fender's falling off. It has meaning to me. I'm not letting that thing go. I just replaced the engine. It only has like 13,000 miles on it. But when you find people that have done what they say they've done, you know, inviting people over to my house, because everybody knows that I have a 20-year history with pressure washing, with a service-based business. When you come over to my house, it's undeniable. There's way too much stuff sitting around here for that to be questioned. And my biggest pieces of equipment and my biggest truck was not even here. The whole purpose is always find somebody that walks the walk and just doesn't talk the talk. We'll be announcing Unscripted number 3 very soon. Y'all make sure to get here. You will not regret it. I guarantee you. You will leave with far more than you can even anticipate coming with. And here's one of the big words I used in the past 2 days: be vulnerable. You have stuff you got to get over. You have stuff you got to get through. You have stuff that you got to get past. Be vulnerable. That's how you do it. Will there be people that judge you? Of course, everybody judges everybody. Screw them. You come for your change. You come for your transformation. Guaranteed, you put what you learn into practice, it will change your life. I'm not questioning it. It will change your life. Now, you can get the most important information that you've ever gotten and do nothing with it, and you're still in the same boat, but that's on you. And with that cliffhanger, we're going to end this call because it is 9:30. Everyone have a great, blessed week. For the members, we will see you Wednesday night. If you're not a member, join now and join in with us Wednesday night. You all be blessed. Have a great day. Have a great week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, but if you do, please name it after me. Have a great day.
So name my